Hello, everyone. Welcome to Dun& Bradstreet's Revenue Acceleration Summit and this session, How SolarWinds is Going Faster with AI and Data. My name is Andres Marquez, and I am the Portfolio Marketing Manager for our ABM and Digital Solutions here in Dun & Bradstreet. And before getting started, just a little bit of housekeeping. So during today's presentation, we invite you to submit questions, all the questions you may have using the Q&A box at the end. Our session is scheduled to run for about 20 minutes, and then we'll take all your questions at the end. I am happy to be the opening act of Marie, who will be telling us this great story about how SolarWinds is activating data and AR in the ABM programs. So without any other further ado, I just want to turn it over to Marie. So thanks, Marie, for being with us today. We're so great and happy to have you here. And I'm going to turn it over to you.
All right. Thank you very much for having me today. It's a great pleasure to be here and just go over some of the programs and ideas that we've had at SolarWinds. So first of all, about me. I am currently the VP of Marketing Technology at SolarWinds. I manage the marketing tech stack. I have a demand gen background. I'm coming from the campaign side of things, digital marketing. I just recently took over our stack because we needed a lot of help around aligning it with our business needs. So it's been a pleasure for me to be able to do that at SolarWinds since the start of the year, and definitely a lot of learnings there. A little bit about my career. I've been in marketing for over 17, 18 years now. I don't traditionally come from the marketing side of things. I was actually an engineer at some point in time in my career, and then shifted to going into marketing, especially when digital marketing just came upon, in the early 2000s being the thing. I decided to just change my career and work in tech instead of oil and gas. So it is a long story. I've been enjoying the ride so far. And, I started in marketing when we called ourselves marketing managers or brand managers. And things have changed a lot since then. And AI and data is one of the things that have changed a lot. And with my more technical background, I think I have enjoyed sort of managing it, discovering a lot what it can do with the AI side of things and the data side of things. So I'm going to cover what we've done at SolarWinds, but let me tell you a little bit about us. We were founded in 1999, so not recently. We celebrated our 20 years last year. We're now close to be $1 billion company. We are publicly traded, and really our roots are in network management, but over the years we've expanded our portfolio. One number that's really interesting here, because you're going to hear me mention it further in the presentation, is that we have over 320,000 customers in 190 countries. So to us, this provides a lot of data, and I'm going to cover it a little bit. I'm going to cover more the direct to end user business side of things. We have an MSP business that's pretty substantial as well. But we run as a separate entity, a separate business units. And so I'm not going to be covering that. If you're more interested in those, I can take questions around that as well, but I may have to refer you to someone else. And the big thing around SolarWinds is our big community. So again, we interact with end users on a daily basis, and we have built this IT community from day one, and have proud ourselves to just be really building products for end users ultimately. Where are we today? We're number one in IT management, network management, and we got to number 3 in operations management. Our goal is to get to number 1, of course. And every year we are making some grounds. You can check us out around where our products rate. We're top rated. We have top rated products that our IT professionals really love. and we pride ourselves for that. Again, more than 320,000 customers, and we have 499 out of the Fortune 500 companies as customers, but hopefully we'll get to 500 soon. I'm going to start really talking about the marketing side of things. I'm going to cover marketing and sales because SolarWinds is a marketing and sales driven company. Really, inbound motion was kind of sort of in our DNA since 1999 when we were really founded to disrupt the industry. Right now, marketing is really the engine that drives demand, like a lot of companies now do. But we have come across kind of the need to diversify our sales motion, and marketing has adapted to that. I'm going to cover 3 really use cases for data and AI that will just tell you a little bit how far we've come along, pretty openly, and where we need to go. Those 3 use cases just really cover the most interesting things that are for marketers to help sales drive pipeline. Ultimately, the goal is to be able to measure an outcome, and this outcome most likely is around revenue. The first one is really, how do we go by identify cross-sales and upsell opportunities? I mentioned earlier that really 320,000 customers over time has given us a lot of data. Well, it's still, when we have data, it's still not the end of all. We have to understand the customer journey. SolarWinds has about, I mentioned our products. We have now close to 60 products for our core marketing, for our core business. And there's a lot of opportunity for us to cross-sell customers and upsell. We don't really sell our products as a one platform with all kinds of features. Customers can add more and more tools as they go and face challenges to managing the IT infrastructure. So the first thing we had to do was to understand the customer journey, and that took us a while because our data is not, like you may guess, really clean, and some of it is old. So we had to study how our customers grow and how they see our products, and this is through that analysis over time that made us understand, hey, really customers only own, at some point in time, just less than 2 products. Well, we have 60. How do we get by, cross-selling more? Because we think that our products really bring value to the IT environment. But also, how do we go by marketing in a smart way, an efficient way to these customers based on their profile? We can't just sell 60 products to all customers, so that's impossible. We already communicate a lot with our customers through emails and other means. We have a big community. How do they understand our products? So we use really predictive models to find the perfect cross-sell. And when we got Dun & Bradstreet on board, this is the first use case we use because of the abundance of data we had. Now we face some challenges because, again, I mentioned our data wasn't super clean. Matching accounts, even finding the right entity versus parent company, we're still just cleaning that up today. So this is a work in progress. But what these predictive models did is allow us to understand, based on the profile of our customer, what will be their next cross-sell, and even when they would upgrade, or, for us, it's an upsell opportunity. So we put this framework together of both intent, engagement, and data to allow us to build programs around that. They were built around nurture email tracks. We would also work on identifying the accounts internally that had a lifetime value that was significant for us, which is, for the size of the account, a lifetime value that was a little below average. And we orchestrate that with sales. So we do a lot of sales plays. We do offers, of course, to our customers. We offer deals, packages, bundles. And so we had to create these offers to match the next cross-sell or the next set of cross-sells to certain accounts. Intent data was layered on top of that. And you may say, well, why would you do that? Well, we found out that a lot of customers are just researching about products or topics that are of interest to us because they don't know we have these products yet. So we had an awareness problem. And to address that, we also layered in intent data to make sure that we are there for them when they're searching for monitoring tool for their servers and things like that, when traditionally they've been more on the network side. So that's one use case we've had. I can't emphasize enough the sales orchestration of things. When the timeliness of a sales conversation happens when they are starting their journey to find a solution for another problem they're facing. We've gotten very positive feedback on conversations that sales had with customers when really the customers had enough information at hand and understood sort of what products we had to offer before they even had that conversation. The next use case really is around really attracting more demand. Attracting more demand to us also means attracting new contacts within an account. Really, it's address net new demand, but also net new account expansion. We have a lot of solutions that sell to different departments within an account. And for that reason, we use, demand gen tactics for that. So we had to identify what were really the value prop and use data within our accounts, but also how do we attract net new accounts? Some markets are not as developed as North America. We're still growing quite fast in APAC and EMEA, and also Latin America. And so we have to adjust to whatever market we're in and when we grow it in. So we have, we use new account tactics to drive digital channels. So we have a huge prospect database over time. And if we can identify those accounts, then we try to expand within that account and drive more demand within those accounts, those prospect accounts. We do the same thing with our customer accounts to drive different personas. So we may target the DBA or the systems administrator while we really have only a relationship with the network administrator. So it doesn't exclude for sales to just do also their work there to try to expand within the account. But from a marketing standpoint, we've used data to find the right channels, find lookalike audience, but also build the segments. And that's how you can get to number 3 in operations, IT operations management. When you have the product, which is quite a fit, and with the needs of the market, and but there's little awareness around what our product does and what SolarWinds does. So we have used this tactics as well for that. So we've used media to extend our awareness, but also attract new demand. Here is a very tiny model of what a nurture would be once we have these different media tactics. And those media tactics include programmatic, pay-per-click, paid social, really some of the traditional kind of digital media tactics that we have today. But with, for a targeted audience and with using the data we have and models that we could use to increase our chance to drive demand there. Once we had the demand coming in and we had those demand gen efforts done, we have nurtured these contacts within the inbox, so in Marketo as well, but even outside. through remarketing, and also through some very targeted media effort in paid social, for example, that will drive the demand and the message that we had built. So really, those multi-channel ABM campaigns were uplifted through this media, this data and intent signal combination. We have demand base as a tool for ABM, and we've extensively used that to build audiences to target these particular segments. We see quite a bit of engagement within these ABM campaigns. We're reporting in demand base about a 94% engagement, and a 2 to 5x lift in pipeline build. Of course, they're very targeted, so they're small but very efficient, and that's what we're looking for right now at SolarWinds. We're at a phase where we have so much demand that we could build. There is no marketing budget big enough to target everybody we could target, in the market. So we try to really own in to the best audience that we could own in with those ABM campaigns. The third use case I'm going to cover is really more around retargeting web visitors with personalized offers. So we are still playing a lot with that. And I have some data here because we did a lot of A/B testing. And really through the identification of the customer journey, we use this data actually to try to figure out the best fit products. So when we did this analysis, we really try to hone in on customers who buy X and Y product. What's the product most likely to buy next? And so we have created a frequently bought together path based on products that people bundle the most together. We also created some cross-sell messaging around the most likely product that the customer will buy next. So we've seen some great results there, and we use that data to segment our visitor base. That segments our customer accounts as well. That was based on, we have a customer portal and we can identify easily when they come in and log in. So we have based these segments based on the affinity and behavior. And if they start clicking on some pages, then we would just show a cross-sell message throughout the process. So that allowed us to really just build a seamless web experience. And by removing even the traditional try now CTA, by putting a portal login CTA for them to just go and download the product directly from the portal, we've seen also a 20% lift there. So you see those numbers are quite impressive. It's still, for us, a small number of percentage of visitors on the website, but it's quite efficient and actually improve the experience of the customer. I'm going to cover next how we accelerate pipeline with data and AI for sales. Again, I'm going to go over 3 simple use cases that everyone can think of, but that helps a lot our sales team be more productive, be more organized, but also drive more business. And we're still in a lot of testing in that. So I will share anecdotally some results. We're still really in the exploration phase of all this, and I will cover where we at, and be pretty open about that. But in some cases, we don't have results yet, and we're still in the process of testing it. One big thing for me when I took over, I had customer marketing just right also before I took over the MarTech responsibilities, really was to identify who will buy next. And it is aligned with what we've done in the marketing side as well. So what did we do? We looked a lot at usage data. We looked a lot of lifecycle marketing analysis. And we align this with intent data and all our searching accounts. So DNB and Lattice gave us a lot of visibility into who was searching, who was active, and from the models we built, we could see who is going to cross-sell yet, to the next product. Layering on usage data is something we're currently doing. And so as people tend to upgrade whenever there's a need for them, that means they use a product a lot, they use a lot of features, and they get to really the maximum license usage that they have. We also want to understand whether they're in a cycle that indicates that they will buy something more, some other product, or more of the same product. So we have built targeted message and offer that sales can utilize through what we call sales plays and their lifecycle plays, or they're just end of quarter offer that really target the customers that are ready to buy. And so that was critical for us because of the sheer amount of customers we have to help sales really prioritize what accounts they should go after next. We have anecdotally seen quite a bit of success there. And what we were trying to solve is really the stopping the spray and pray that was prominent in sales and marketing in terms of blasting everyone in hoping that there was a right time. So we are still in the process of making this better for sales. The challenges around this is sometimes it's a manual process. We pull data, it's in a spreadsheet, or it's loaded into Salesforce. Really, my role now is to connect the dots and put it all together for them. So it shows us pretty easily in a simple view, either in a report or even in an automated fashion in outreach. For example, if you use any sales engagement platform like that. So it's pretty easy to do. It requires a lot of work, but once it's done, it really can pull in all the A and B rating accounts that are showing up in our models. We also try to help sales really see a 365 view of the customer. We've had this historically for a long time, but what we are doing now is really trying to get this information really right in front of them in a more comprehensive way, not just the purchase history and the demographic of the customer, but also where are they in their phase. So I talk a lot about lifecycle marketing, right? So lifecycle really includes onboarding, installs, renewal, support, anything, all the interactions that we have and the phases we have within the customer journey. So our goal is really to show that in that 365 view. We also try to add intelligence to that and really bring in upfront for that at the account level, all the information we could have on the account through account enrichment, but also, what's the score? What leads tied to the account or contacts are showing engagement or behavioral intent. So layering in really element of behavioral intent, predictive analysis, and engagement activity really helps just bringing the 365 view of the customer. I couldn't show you a snapshot. It's really an internal tool that we have in a simple tool like Tableau. You can do the same in Power BI. So we use tools like that to just bring in the whole view and build nice dashboards for that 365 view of the customer. The last use case that we have is really identify key talking points. So once you have identified the top accounts, show the 360 view of the customer and what's going on at the account level, sales needs talking points. So how do we use that information efficiently to bring in and bubble up talking points really through snippets, and even bring in upfront customer quotes, and bring this into one platform. So we have, now we are in early stage of developing, of deploying Buyers Insight. It is a DMB tool, and we identify 3 use cases right now. We're going to launch them in early October. But marketing, product marketing, and my team are involved in just really getting the technology, content, and intelligence all together into one platform that sales can use to reach out to the customer and really have a intelligent conversation with the customer needs, the technology they're using, and what they should consider next. So maybe in a few months I can talk through kind of what we are with this, but it sounds very promising. It's been very well received by our sales team in terms of kind of the next phase for them to get into for more efficient pipeline development. So no data yet to share here. The reason is we're still in early deployment, and we're gonna launch a pilot next month. So, but it's very exciting to be at this point, of building and bringing all this intelligence in front of our sales team. The third pillar that DMB has is measuring success. And I mentioned a few metrics, but really they're not the only ones. These are some examples of the things we look at. And really what I wanna really just emphasize is there are leading indicators and lagging indicators that can help measure success of a program. Leading indicators are what marketing looks at a lot. So traffic, conversion, engagement, things like that. Of course, marketing measures all the way through ROI. So we are measured against, of course, close won, pipeline build, opportunities. But what sales look at also is, as leading indicator, do they get a lot of meetings created? How the quality of the conversation? You can't minimize those leading indicators, because if meetings are not set, then the opportunity to drive more ops and pipe is diminished regardless. So, so we look at some of these metrics, most of those listed there. Some of them are tied to the product, trial conversion, usage, engagement within the product. So there's engagement really at all levels. Upgrades and number of product owned are also tied to the product performance. They're all interconnected. There isn't like one category that just drives the business on its own. You have to see this as the full view. It's a 360 view of the measuring metrics in a way. And lagging indicator to me is more renewals, so do the customer come back? How often did they re-engage? But also number of product owned. So we can look over time and look at that, is this growing over time? Do we go from 1 product on average to 1.5? Like what are, and what are the products that are being cross-sold or upgraded the most? Are things that we look back on over time after a few quarters running these programs. Lessons learned, really, there are many. It was hard to put them into just 3, and even there's 4 now. Really, make a plan is important. I'm not gonna lie. It takes planning, thinking across sales, marketing, and product. One of the main struggle that we had is really an adoption of a new way of doing things. Really selling the data, use it, and report results is important. You gotta have adoption across marketing and sales. Marketing can do all these ABM campaigns, but then sales is stuck in their way, doesn't understand they don't need to spray and pray all the time to all customers, all prospects, that they can now be smarter and more efficient in their communication and interaction with a customer or prospect. That is really important. So the sales and marketing has to be on board. because just the orchestration has to happen. If an ABM program just come through, you drive, all these prospects, and volumes are not large, so it's not impressive at the beginning. And so, it really needs to be adopted in all regions and by all teams. We tend to do pilots, really just get some champions within each of the teams. So then that's the way we've had more success with. I think it's pretty traditional way of driving new initiatives, but it worked well for us. But adoption is critical. Customer experience to me is important, like building a personalization that's too obvious or creepy really doesn't work. What the ideal state is really that it seems seamless, that the next cross-sell seems logical to the customer. You don't have to force it, you don't have to oversell it. Ultimately, that's the ideal state where the company and the customer are in sync in terms of what's needed next for the customer, and everybody understand each other. If your products are great, the customer will come back, their experience will be better, and they'll come back again. So that's the fine line we try to get to, not rushing it, and which is tough because, we have aggressive sales goals, aggressive marketing goals. So driving more awareness, keeping the effort there will help as well. Keeping the engagement, training the customer on the next, on what's next is really critical for marketing for us to build that experience seamlessly. Contextual engagements. That's what we try to do with Buyer's Insight. Really, as these conversations happen outside of the sales cycle, we really drive context with the sales conversation. Where is the customer at in their journey is what we're trying to help them with. We don't want to make the customer uncomfortable by just generating a phone call the minute they've clicked on something, right? But again, it has to be organic and natural, where this information is bubbled up and in a timely manner. When the time is right, sales can have this conversation and know what's going on within the universe of the customer themselves. So that's the ideal state, and that's what I think everybody should aspire to when building those, using data to just drive those experiences. All right, I am at Q&A. It went pretty fast.
Okay. Thank you, Marie. Thanks again for being with us and for delivering your great content. Unfortunately, we kind of run out of time. So we invite you all to submit your questions here in the Q&A box, and we'll be back to you as soon as possible with them. And again, Marie, thanks for your time. Thanks for joining us. To all of you, please just stay tuned for the upcoming sessions we have for the rest of the day. And we really appreciate the time of you, Marie, sharing with us all your content today.
Thank you.